Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. Got another Master Duel video for you. So I promised that I would update you all when I updated my Yubel build, and I have done so. So it's actually not too terribly different from what I had it before, but the biggest thing that I've decided to take out of this deck is in fact the super polymerization. As you can see, I am no longer playing this card. I was on 2 before. Now I have elected to go down to 0. So I think the main reason that I decided to cut Super Poly really was to have more room for hand traps, honestly. Like, here's the thing, Super Poly is obviously a pretty good board breaker card, and that can also be quite helpful going second. It also definitely helps that this deck has a pretty universal Super Poly target. However, one thing that does require is for you to control a Yubel monster, and sometimes your opponent's board has enough negates, or they time their disruption well enough on their board that you're not even really able to land a Yubel monster. So at that point, you're relying on super polying into something like Mud Dragon or Garura, which is not horrible, but definitely not as good as Living Defender Forever, right? But the other kind of issue, I mean, there's a couple of minor reasons why I don't like Super Poly, right? It's hard to actually summon Loving Defender Forever off of it, more so than you would think. Super polying away your opponent's monsters sometimes is not even the best thing to be doing, because one of our win cons is running into their stuff with Nightmare Pain. So if you super poly away their board, then you don't have anything to run into, and then you might be looking at a situation where you're having to play a grindy game where you might have been able to finish it sooner if you had not super poly. Now, of course, you could just not activate super poly in that case, but then that super poly is taking up an extra space in your hand, right? A space that could have, again, been a hand trap is my main thing, right? And that's another thing. I think even the main reason why I cut Super Poly for more hand trap stuff, right? I think particularly it was adding Nibiru, but as much as it is satisfying to Super Poly away the opponent's board, it's not always feasible. It's kind of rare, but sometimes there are boards that you actually can't Super Poly either because the materials don't line up right to make something like Mud Dragon or Garura, or if they only have one monster, like a Math Mech that's ending on Terahertz and nothing else, right? And even then, once they flip up Super Facts, they have an Earth and a Dark, so two different attributes. You can't actually fuse them together, unless the Terahertz is copied Earth, but you know what I mean. Basically, the idea is that, I would rather stop my opponent from doing stuff than, maybe try to eat away at their board, right? That's kind of my main thought process, is to not playing the Super Poly. Plus, as time goes on, the Super Poly won't be quite as meta-relevant for Yubel. What I mean by that is that there's so many Yubel decks running around because it's the new hotness, that Super Poly is actually really, really good in Yubel right now, because you can often just Super Poly away their whole board. But you won't always have that luxury. Indeed, I've already kind of started to see a slight decrease in the number, very slight decrease, in the number of Yubel decks, that I've been seeing on ladder. So, speaking of that, I think the reason that Yubel ends up being so popular right now, even if it's not like a tier 1 deck, is because it's not Snake Eye. And I think a lot of competitive players, like myself, are a little snake-eyed out. Might be done with done with fire monsters. Although, honestly, we're gonna be feeling the same way about Yubel. I can already tell you that. Fiend type in general is about to undergo a similar makeover that the fire attribute underwent, for better or for worse. So, we'll be seeing a lot more Yubel in the future here. What else can I say about this build in particular? It's really standard. I'm really not doing anything too fancy. I am on the Eternal Favorite. The main reason I actually like this card isn't even really for its effects. It's actually just to have something else to search off of the Spirit, right? Or potentially even the Nightmare... not Nightmare Throne. Nightmare Pain. That was the other card that can add it. Yeah, whatever other card you can add Eternal Favor, right? No, but I like having other search target. It's Eternal Favorite is Sprite Smashers to me in Sprite, right? You don't need it. It's disruption that doesn't even come up all the time when you do search it. You'd rather be searching Starter most of the time, but sometimes you began your plays with Starter, or you already opened Starter, and you just need something else to search that does something relevant, and I think Eternal Favorite definitely fits that bill. Plus, this card is actually easier to proc than it might look. I guess the Super Poly effect, right, is easier to activate than it might look, because really all it requires is one of your Phantom of Yubel to resolve on your opponent's turn. That'll pop a Spirit in your deck, which will summon out Yubel, and now you have Eternal Favorite plus Yubel to do the Super Poly effect. One thing to know about Eternal Favorite, though, very important about this effect. The card reads, discard one card and send this face-up card to the graveyard, meaning Eternal Favorite needs to already be face-up on the field to activate this effect. Basically, like, let's say Eternal Favorite is face down and you want to Super Poly your opponent's board, like, right this moment, like, right when you have priority pass to you. You can't flip it up and then also do the second effect in the same action. You have to flip it up, pass priority back to your opponent, then when priority gets passed back to you, now you can activate the second effect of Eternal Favorite. Also, of course, goes without saying that you can't do it if you, like, because if it's face down and it gets flipped up, it might ask you, do you want to activate the effect now? And if you click yes, that's you doing the first effect, because the first effect does not have that stipulation. It's because the second effect states, discard one card and send this face-up card to the graveyard, so it's weird. It's a weird ruling thing with counter traps, but yeah. Anyway, it's because basically at the point when you activate the effect, the card is still face down. That said, this card is pretty cuttable, and as a result, the Loving Defender Forever also ends up being pretty cuttable from the extra deck if you need a little bit more main and extra deck room there. I'm not on the Chaos Summoning Beast. Where is this card? I might not even have it crafted. Oh, here it is, yeah. Chaos Summoning Beast. I have not tried this out just yet. If you're wondering, because I was actually confused for a little bit about, like, when does this card come up? Like, why does this deck play this card? Because none of its actual effects are relevant. But if you open Opening of the Spirit Gates and nothing else, then if you're playing the Chaos Summoning Beast, you can actually still make plays. You can Opening for Beckoning Beast. Beckoning Beast then adds the Chaos Summoning Beast, which you get the extra normal for. Go into Yama, then you can Yama add Sharvara, Opening Pitch, bring one of the things back, Sharvara pop it, go into Rage, and then also set the Escape, right? I am not 100% sold on this, though, because you're playing a Garnet for, like, an extremely specific kind of opening hand that's already not going to be a great opening anyway, even if you play the Garnet, right? Like, I mean, yeah, of course it's better to have, like, Unchained Soul of Rage plus Escape than nothing, but I don't know if I've encountered, I don't know if I've even had a hand yet where I have Opening the Spirit Gates and literally nothing else, right? Maybe I have. I kind of feel like I have, actually, now that I say that, but in any case, it's like, do I play this Garnet to make a bad turn a bad opening that rarely happens into a mediocre one? And when you phrase it like that, I just really don't feel like it's worth it. So I might still try it out at some point. Of course, I'm also willing to be wrong. Maybe it does end up being standard. I think right now it's like 50-50 whether or not you play it. I think literally 47% of builds are on it right now. But yeah. Oh, and then Chaos Angel is out. I put in the Star Slayer instead, and I'm very glad I did. Not only because mine is very, very shiny, but also this card comes up a lot more often than the Chaos Angel does, and has won me a couple of games. I think we may, actually don't remember, we may see one of them. Maybe, but alright. Yeah, that covers pretty much everything about the updated build that I have to say. Let's break it down card by card, and then we'll watch some of these replays. We're on 2 Effect Failure, 3 Samsara D Lotus, 2 Gruesome Gravescrimmer, 3 Maxi, 3 Dark Beckoning Beast, 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 1 Unchained Soul of Sharvara, 1 Yubel, 3 Spirit of Yubel, 1 Yubel Terror Incarnate, 1 Nibiru the Primal Being, 1/1/1, 3 Nightmare Throne, we got 3 Opening of the Spirit Gates, 2 Nightmare Pain, 2 Called by the Grave, 1 Crossset Designator, 3 Infinite Permanence, 1 Escape of the Unchained, and then 1 Eternal Favorite. That's going to be our main deck. For the extra, we are on 3 Phantom of Yubel, 1 Loving Defender, we got 1 Starslayer Typhoon Sky Crisis, 1 Salmon Grey Almirage, 1 Unchained Soul of Rage, 1 Cross Sheep, 1 Muckraker from the Underworld, 1 Unchained Soul Lord of Yama, 1 SP Little Knight, 1 Unchained Soul of Anguish, 1 Nightmare Griffin. I actually kind of think about taking this card out because I never make it. 1 Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess, and then finally 1 Access Code Talker. That's going to be it for the list. Let's watch some duels. Alright, got a couple of mirrors for this video, and we're going to start off with one that's 8 turns long. These games were all played live on stream. If you ever want to catch the live streams, feel free to check out the link in the description below. There's going to be a link over to my Twitch where you can follow or subscribe there to get notifications of when I go live. Also linked in the description is my second YouTube channel where I post full VODs as well. So, alright, so here, my opponent leads by setting 2 and passing. I'm going to opening for the Beckoning Beast to see if that baits anything. It doesn't, so I'm actually going to use the Phantom of Yubel, go into that next. From there, I'm actually going to link off the Beckoning Beast with the Phantom to go for Soul Lord of Yama. Yama's going to add the Sharvara here. I'm going to set the opening and then pop it for the Sharvara. I'm actually going to move to battle here before I keep linking because I did the math and I was like, yeah, this is going to be the most amount of damage I do this turn, right? Is 4k. From here, Unchained Soul of Rage, we're going to use the Sharvara to set Escape and then pass over to the opponent. So, let me think here. I opened opening in Spirit, right? There's not really, I don't think there's a clean line you can really do with that. The thing about Spirit of Yubel is, while this card is quite good, it's actually not the best to open for that reason. I've kind of been thinking about going down to 2 copies. You don't absolutely need 3. And again, although this card is very important for the deck, it's weirdly, again, not that great to open. So, I can definitely see why people play Puri-Ree's map. I have considered it, so. 2 more back rows. Looks like our opponent is just not really drawing into that much here. We, however, found a Samsara D Lotus, which is quite good. I'm going to activate another opening of the Spirit Gates here for the Dark Beckoning Beast search, of course, but also the main reason I really like going for the second opening here is because this card is actually a soft once per turn in both of these effects, which is wild. That's insane that these are both soft once per turns. It means that you can, like, if I wanted to right now, right, I could add back opening, pitch opening to revive something, and then add back opening, and then pitch opening to revive something. I could actually do both, because the stipulation is you can only activate 1 opening of the Spirit Gates per turn. However, again, having multiples is quite good. Here my Spirit of Yubel is going to get Ash Blossomed. That is completely fine. It's not really important at all. Going to use opening, as I said before, to add back opening and then opening to pitch opening for the Samsara D Lotus. Opponent's going to Super Poly here, pitching the Geist Grinder, which is very, very scary. Not the Geist Grinder, the fact that he's Super Poly my board, for Loving Defender. Alright, Loving Defender is going to burn me for 2k. Can't add back my continuous spells anymore because, of course, I no longer control level 10 monster. Trying to pitch Valor here, they're going to Called by Spirit of Yubel, but the opening does not target, so I still get back the Beckoning Beast. And also, by using Call by on Spirit of Yubel, now they can't use it either. It does not look like they need that, though, because they're going to combo with their own Dark Beckoning Beast, which I am promptly going to Ash Blossom to make sure that doesn't get them into plays. Looks like they're going to link it off with the Yubel for Yama, probably. And then I imagine from here you would Yama for Sharvara. Sharvara pop one of your back rows. They probably... Oh, they're going to activate one of their back rows. Eternal Favorite, bringing back Yubel, the Loving Defender, forever. Now Sharvara is going to pop the other face down card, which was an Imperm. And now we're linking for Unchained Abon. Sharvara gets to, of course, set the Escape of the Unchained. And they're going to make a Phantom for good measure here. So, yeah, not an ideal situation for us to be in. However, we do get to use the Yama effect here, which is quite nice. They're not going to use Phantom on it. I'm going to bring back Unchained Soul of Rage. They don't have Nightmare Pain, so they can't bounce damage back to me. I'm going to Rage and just force the Phantom of Yubel here. Again, I'm actually totally fine doing this too, because Yeah, exactly. If they had tried to pop Spirit, it wouldn't have done any good, so they had to pop a Terra Incarnate instead. I can then use my own escape, actually, to not only pop their own monster, but now Rage adds back Samsara D Lotus, ensuring that I have follow-up plays here, instead of relying on a top deck. They do get back their A-Bomb with their own Yama, which is not ideal, but they had to pop their own escape to do it. Now they get to summon off of it. Looks like they are on the Shyama. I lose my opening here, but I think this is still preferable to what the board state was before. Okay, so they have Unchained Soul of Rage and nothing else going into my turn. They also do have the Eternal Favor, that is actually worth noting. Right on time, Nibiru. We do still have the Samsara D Lotus, which is going to summon out Spirit. Spirit F will activate. They're going to chain the Rage, which I kind of figured they were going to here. Makes sense. They probably go for SV Little Knight, I would imagine, right? Yeah. And then the Spirit is going to set Nightmare Pain, which is going to get banished. Alright, from here, I can make a Phantom, because now I have a Yubel monster in the graveyard, and I mentioned earlier how important Typhoon was going to end up being. Yeah, here we go. Starslayer Typhoon battling over the Little Knight, passing back over the opponent's turn. This is the exact kind of situation where this card comes up in very huge handy. So they're going to set one monster and then pass, but Typhoon can bounce any monster, not just a face-up one. So that just goes right on back to hand, and we swing right on in for lethal. Wow, I know, they concede before we actually get to do that, but still cool. Still very, very cool. So that's the exact kind of situation in which Typhoon very much comes up, and I like it quite a bit. So very, very glad I played it over Chaos Angel. I would still play Chaos Angel in this deck. Oh, I had somebody ask me last video how to summon Chaos Angel. I talked about it in that one, but you would use one of your ones plus Spirit, ideally Effect Veiler, because that would give you both the light and dark effects. So if I was on Eternal Favorite, I would probably cut the Loving Defender and just play Chaos. Well, I would definitely cut the Loving Defender because I'm not on Super Poly either. And then I would probably just play Chaos Angel in its place. But alright, there is our first duel. Let's check out the next one. Alright, I did mention we had a couple of mirror matches here, although this one is not quite as long as the last one was. Yeah, when it comes to playing Yubel in general, but especially the mirror matches, it really comes down to keeping track of resources. Not only yours, but also what your opponent has left or has in their hand, etc., etc. So, I'm going to lead with opening here, see if I can't bait out some disruption of the opponent. They don't have anything so far, so we should be in the clear. I mean, again, so far. I'm going to use the extra normal for the Samsara D Lotus, and it turns out they were saving their Ash Blossom. Very smart of them, of course, the mirrors. They also probably knew I was just baiting them the whole time, basically up until Lotus's effect. But we also have the call by, so it just did not matter at all. Alright, Ash Blossom negated, Lotus F for Spirit, Spirit F to activate. We're going to grab, of course, Nightmare Pain and set it onto the field. Still setting Nightmare Pain on turn 1 because it plays around Ash and Droll. It's also like there's no reason not to on turn 1. Now, after turn 1, there is definitely reason to add Nightmare Pain and not set it. Because your opponent might potentially pop it with one of their cards, right? But if you're going first and it's turn 1, you should pretty much always set the Nightmare Pain instead of just adding it. Alright, making the Cross Sheep. Going for the Phantom. This is pretty much a standard turn 1 combo line, except I also have the extra Beckoning Beast, which I'm going to use now alongside the Gruesome Gravescormer to make the Yama. Alright, Yama F, grabbing Sharvara. Gonna make our 3-mat Apo. I actually could have made a 4-mat Apo here and just use the Phantom of Yubel. Alright, Gravescormer F for the Spirit back. I get to pop the Spirit with the Sharvara. She's going to bring out the Yubel again. That's so wild that effect is not once per turn. That's actually crazy. Same with Phantom as well. Alright, there's Rage, Sharvara set Escape, and then we just pass, right? Oh no, okay. Oh, that's right. That's right, we can pitch opening for Yubel. Oh wait, I chose to end on Little Knight. I see. And then we're going to make another Phantom. You know what else I could have done, actually? I could have left... that might have even actually been better. Okay, here's what I should have done, right? One, I think I should have definitely made a 4-mat Apo instead of a 3-mat Apo. And then rather than making this little knight, what I should have done is just left Yubel on the field. So it would have been end phase. Going into the end phase, you would have had 4-mat Apo, Unchained Soul of Rage, Phantom of Yubel, because I would have made a second one, and then regular Yubel, right? Then during the end phase, I can summon back Samsara D Lotus, and then just destroy Yubel by its own effect. That would have maximized the number of disruptions I would have ended up on. Yeah, that would have been better, for sure. I mean, this isn't bad either, but I could have, yeah, I see how I could have played that better. But this is why we practice, you know? Yubel is still a very new deck. I think at the time this video goes out, it will have been in Master Duel for 1 week, so I definitely don't fault people, myself included. I'm talking about myself here. I don't beat myself up for not, you know, playing perfectly with it, which is really easy to do, right? That's one of the biggest things I think about Yu-Gi-Oh! For me, is that, like, it's really easy. Oh, God, hang on. I'm sorry, I gotta pause this game real quick, because I want to get into this, right? It's something I've thought for quite a while. The way that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is talked about, like, for a game that's so complicated, we sure like to call each other stupid a lot, I guess is what I'm getting at here. Like, I see, like, not only for myself in chat, but also just people in general, like, people constantly making these, like, patronizingly nitpicking, you know, commentary about other people's play. It's like, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? That was obvious, you should have done that. And it's like, I don't know, maybe because it's, like, the most complicated TCG out there. So, like, don't feel bad if you're, like, you know, minorly misplaying and ending on a slightly unoptimal board. Like, again, like, this board I made could have been better, but, like, this one is definitely still very serviceable. Now, granted, I will definitely, it's not like I'm saying it's okay to make this board every single time. Ideally, we should learn from our mistakes and improve, but I find it a lot harder to improve if you're, like, stuck in this mode of, like, beating yourself up, and it can be easy to get in that mode, just the way that people talk when it comes to talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Plays. So that's all I just wanted to say, is that, you know, if you're like me making unoptimal Yubel end boards, just like I did, remind yourself, it's been 1 week. It's been a week since the deck came out. We're learning. It's fine to learn at our own pace, you know? And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I'm mainly actually telling myself this, because, like, I don't know, I know that a lot of people are genuinely trying to be helpful, but, like, it can get so frustrating sometimes when I'm, like, playing on stream, and then chat is constantly like, why did you do this? Why did you do that? Why didn't you do this? Why did you do that? And it's like, can I just play the game? like, yeah, I mean, I am aiming to improve competitively, but at the same time, like, it gets very tiring very quickly. Especially for me, and I know that a lot of the time I understand that when people are asking, why are you doing this? It's like, they are genuinely asking why, but a lot of the time for me, it feels like when people are asking that, it's like, you know, it's more, I guess, demanding. It's like, I don't know what to say. It's like, why did you make that play? It's like, I don't know, because I'm stupid. Leave me alone. Anyway. So, we played, again, just our turn 1 board, through the opponent's stuff there. And going for the access code for lethal here. Oh, access code is actually another new addition to the extra deck I forgot to talk about during the profile. I like it quite a bit. I very, very much enjoy the ability to OTK much easier. So, we got one more duel here. Let's finish off with that one. Okay, Endymion is actually going to be our final opponent for this one, for this video. I think... Oh no, we're going first. Okay. It was a 3-turn game, so I assumed that they were going first. Actually, I don't know why I assumed that. A 3-turn duel probably means that I end on the I finish the game on the follow-up turn, right? Anyway. I got the Nightmare Throne here, plus a lot of extenders, so just gonna go for, I think, for some pretty standard plays. Yeah, setting the Eternal Favorite because we already have the Nightmare Pain in hand, and then popping the Spirit in hand, keeping the 1 on board, well, on the board, to get some, again, extra materials out of this turn 1 combo line. Alright, Squirmer and Terror going into the Cross Sheep will then summon the Phantom by shuffling those two back. Those two being original Yubel and Terra Incarnate. Again, if you can get those two, always shuffle both of them back for the Phantom, because they don't really do anything just sitting in the graveyard. Spirit could potentially be brought back or added to hand later, right? And, yeah, Samsara D Lotus can potentially be brought back. Gravescrummer, of course, going to use the graveyard effect, so... Yubel, OG, and Terra Incarnate are definitely the best materials to make the, Why am I brain farting? The card I just said. Phantom, that one. Alright, so there is... I think I'm actually going to end up leaving original Yubel on the field, if I recall correctly. Or is this another game where he turned into Little Knight? I'm trying to remember. Okay, there's the Phantom. Nah, okay, so this one... Yeah, we're just going to leave it and then summon back the Lotus and then let Yubel pop itself. So, this plus a 4-mat Apo instead of 3-mat Apo is what that last game's turn 1 in board, again, should have looked like. So, I'm going to Ash Blossom the Mythical Beast Cerberus effect. Mostly because it's a spell card right now, and, like, I have a lot of monster negates, so I think that's really what I'm going to try to focus the Ash Blossom on as spell cards here. They do have plenty more spell cards to help them find plays. I do actually plan on using Escape on this other Pentascale here. Yeah, the Servant of Endymion. However, then they triple tacked and took Appaloosa. So that's a bit of a yikes. That said, I am still going to do it this way and pop the Pendulum Scale because I can still chain block the Yama effect. So even if they had Appoed, right? They would have to Apo on the Rage effect, and I wouldn't be able, or they wouldn't be able to stop me from summoning the Rage to the field either way. Alright, I'm actually not really scared anymore of what my opponent's doing, because their Pendulum Scale is not great, a 2 to 4 scale. Like, yeah, they can summon out the Servant of Endymion, but not much else than that. But it looks like they're actually going to special summon the Endymion from their hand, and then this one out from the Pen Zone. Gonna Unchained Soul of Rage, that'll proc Appaloosa, and then I'm gonna Phantom of Yubel on the Appaloosa effect. They're gonna chain Callby on the Phantom though, so my plan was to Eternal Favorite, but, or rather, was to Eternal Favorite with the Super Poly effect. However, with the Phantom now negated, we can't summon out regular Yubel, plus they just end up using the Endymion on the Eternal Favorite anyway, which is actually fine with me. This is actually all fine, because even though the Appaloosa negates Unchained Soul of Rage here, yeah, they move to battle over the Rage, but then what? Move to main, or yeah, and also the Lotus. Move to main phase 2, and then yeah, they have to link off my Appo for Electromite? No, Beyond the Pendulum. Either way, it's definitely much less scary than a regular Endymion turn, so... Alright, here's their Pendulum summon. Get to bring back the level 7 Endymion here. But it's immediately getting linked off with Beyond the Pendulum for Exceed the Pendulum. Exceed the Pendulum F will then add back the Endymion to hand. And then let them summon it again. Looks like they're just link climbing at this point. Into... Oh, access code. I remember this now. Because I remember being very confused here. I was like, access code? Really? I guess. Yeah, they can pop my Callby. I don't care about that. Actually, I should have chained it on the Beyond the Pendulum. That would have been smarter. But, yeah, they got rid of my Nightmare Pain in my back row. Actually not the end of the world, though, because I can still make Phantom. I can use their chicken game to draw one here. I'm going to use Sharvara to pop the Phantom, and now I can proc Nightmare Throne to add, and then special Spirit of Yubel. Because Phantom of Yubel is level 9, can summon out the level 10 Spirit of Yubel. So I'll just Spirit of Yubel for a new Nightmare Pain, and they're actually just going to concede right then and there. Because it would not be hard with that access code for me to lethal here. It would just take 2 attacks. Of course, the Nightmare Pain would pop the Spirit, summon out Yubel, and then I could, let's see, I would add the Gruesome Grave Squirmer. So I'd have Yubel up, Spirit in Graveyard, a Gruesome Grave Squirmer in hand, Special Grave Squirmer, link it with Sharvara for Muckraker, and then from there I can bring back the Spirit with either. I could bring back Spirit with either Muckraker or the Gruesome Grave Squirmer, or I could just make a Phantom. No matter what, I have an easy way to lethal here. So, alright, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for checking out this Yubel update. Don't worry, I will cover some more decks here in the next week or so that are not just Yubel decks, but of course, right in that new pack hype, want to talk about the new decks a lot here. So, like I said, that'll do it for this one, though. Let's just move to the outro. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Just want to give you a huge thanks for watching all the way to the very end of the video. Believe it or not, that is actually one of the best ways that you can support the channel, is by watching the videos in their entirety. But there are many ways in which you can support the channel if you are so interested. The names that you're seeing on screen here, I gotta give an extra special thanks to, because these are people who have chosen to either become a member on YouTube, which if you're interested you can do as well via the join button next to the subscribe button down there, or have signed up over on Patreon and become members there. Link to that is going to be in the description below. Without the support that is being offered by, again, all the people that you're seeing on screen right here, I would not be able to take the time to dedicate to uploading daily YouTube videos. So thank you so very much. But there are also other ways you can support as well. Again, link to the description below. If you like my deck tracker that you'll see in a lot of my videos, the Untapped Companion, you can download that for free, and if you use my affiliate link down there, then that also goes a long way towards supporting the channel. That's, again, free. So is subscribing here on YouTube. That's also free and a huge way to support. You can also check out Twitch, once again linked in the description below. Following and subscribing over there will not only support as well, but also give you notifications of when I go live if you want to catch some of the live streams. But really, no matter how you choose to support, it all adds up, and it all definitely means the world. So thank you, each and every one of you. For now, this is Hexlex. I'm going to be signing out. But more than that, I'm hoping that you have a fantastic day.